This is exactly right.
The Hulu original series Furious is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Starring Emmy Rossum as Alice Black, Furious follows a rookie FBI agent on the hunt for Catherine, played by Lola Pettigrew, a mysterious and calculating female serial killer.
While Alice upholds justice, Catherine kills for it, terrorizing the rich and powerful men of New York in her pursuit of vengeance.
With secrets that change everything, Alice discovers there's a thin line between hunter and prey.
Watch the Hulu original series Furious.
Now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Goodbye.
I'm Nancy Glass, host of the Burden of Guilt Season 3 podcast. This is a story about a horrendous situation that destroyed 2 families. It's a scorched earth war that shows just how far someone will go to get what they want.
Cindy said I had to choose between the truth and my family, and I had to choose the truth.
Listen to Season 3 of Burden of Guilt on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Portlandia fans.
Carrie Brownstein and Fred Armisen here.
The dream of the 90s is alive in podcast form.
We're launching Podlandia AO Rewatch, our brand new podcast where we revisit every episode of Portlandia together, breaking down sketches, going deep on our iconic characters, and pulling back the curtain on how it all got made.
And we'll also be joined by the people who helped bring it all to life. Guest stars, collaborators, and friends, including director Jonathan Kreisel, the mayor himself, Kyle MacLachlan, legendary musician Amy Mann, and many more.
Kyle is going for it here. You fully improvised not just words, but a song, a melody.
Well, I thought you were all going to write a song.
I remember you thinking that. Listen to Podlandia, AO Rewatch on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello.
And welcome
To My Favorite Murder.
This is the Minisode.
That's right. Here it is.
It's email time.
Why don't you go first?
Some people call it mailbag. Some people call it viewer mail, listener mail. Not us.
I feel like calling it hometowns at this point is not true.
We've gone so far off the hometown track.
Yeah.
For example, here, this email. And it just starts like this. I'm not going to read the subject line. It just starts, I realized my last submission of this story had an error in it around 4 a.m., which is when I typically relive all the mistakes I've made in my life. This version that you're about to read is accurate and updated. So, like my therapist suggests, I've corrected myself and am moving on. This is me moving on. And then it's a paragraph break and then it says, so how are all the pets? When I was a teenager, my entire family met in Vegas to celebrate my grandparents' anniversary, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. Why would a family of 13 to 70-year-olds meet in Sin City? Gambling and free booze for everyone except 2 of us, me and my cousin. We were both 13 and it was 1990. Cell phones didn't exist and clearly neither did parental supervision. Our first night there, we went to a fancy Vegas dinner to celebrate my grandparents. The adults couldn't wait to get to the casino floor, and us kids couldn't wait to get away from the adults. The great thing about all the booze and the gambling was that my parents really didn't pay us much attention. They just kept handing us $20 bills without taking their eyes off the slot machines, cigarettes dangling from their lips. At first, we didn't leave the hotel. It was the Mirage and it was brand new. We just messed around in the gift shops, going up and down the elevators, eating candy, etc. It's a dream.
Love it.
Then we decided we needed to find a place that was more our speed. So we hailed a cab and headed to Circus.
What? I wouldn't even have known how to do that.
For real. I would have been like, they won't let me hail a cab.
Yeah.
I'm too young.
Holy shit.
Not these 2. The cabbie didn't hesitate to take a fistful of sweaty 20s from 2 13-year-olds and then raced through the back streets of Vegas to get us to our destination. Once at Circus, we ate junk food. This is so fucking crazy. Also, I don't know Vegas well enough, but Circus is far away from the main hotels on the Strip, right?
It's on the edge. Like in so many ways, not just its location.
It's on the edge emotionally, physically. Once at Circus, we ate junk food and played games until it was dark and we ran out of money. We walked back to our hotel. I looked it up. The hotels are 1.7 Vegas miles away from each other.
In Vegas, that's a lot.
That's 8 miles.
Yeah.
My cousin couldn't find his parents, so he crashed in my room. It was a room with an adjoining door to my parents' room. They, of course, were still boozing and gambling, so they hadn't gotten back yet. I didn't hear anything from either of them until my mom flung the adjoining door open the next morning and exclaimed, "There you are." All my life, I've had the confidence that I could do anything. Maybe, like so many of the greats, the roots of my tenacity began in Vegas. Or maybe my parents should have given a shit. Either way, I'm pretty much fine. Thank you all for being such badasses. Over the years, you have been a thread of comfort, tethering me to humor, kindness, and hope through times of anxiety and self-doubt. Wow, that's a lovely compliment. SSDGM, Layla. And then in parentheses, it says, like the song, she, her. Fucking Layla, that was an epic, beautiful email.
Layla, great job.
So
oh my
good.
God. 13. I mean, I was doing some crazy shit at 13 too. But now that I'm like in my 40s, I'm like, that's a baby. You're a baby.
You're a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 8th grade, maybe? 7th grade?
7th or 8th grade. Holy shit.
Oh,
Good one.
I don't think I even saw a cab until I was in my 20s. It's so intense.
Yep. Okay, this one's called, Well, That Was Awkward. Hey, y'all. Thanks for everything you do and continuing to make episodes that are a joy to listen to. So this isn't the typical true crime story, more of a story about why I shouldn't go in public. I was at my godson's first birthday party, and I was the only non-family member there. I was also the only non-parent there. There was a lot of mom-centric talking happening, so I tuned it out.
Yep.
But I kept hearing them talking about NXIVM, which is that crazy cult from The Vow. This piqued my interest, so I started to eavesdrop. I must have had a confused look on my face because my friend asked me what was wrong. I said, NXIVM, the cult? They said, no, NXIVM, the heartburn med. Two totally different conversations and a stark difference between a true crime person and a non-true crime person. Stay sexy and don't bring up a sex cult at a 1-year-old's birthday party, Sarah.
Sarah's like, could we please talk about bikini line branding and not your acid reflux? That's so funny. I forgot when that story broke and they first started reading about NXIVM. That's the first thing I thought of where I'm like, this has to be a misprint.
Yeah.
Because NXIVM already exists and it's a medicine. But nope.
I'm Nancy Glass, host of the Burden of Guilt Season 3 podcast. This is a story about a horrendous situation that destroyed 2 families. It started more than 7 years ago when Cindy and Kenny were 2 40-somethings who had just gotten engaged. Days later, they walked into a scorched earth war they never saw coming.
Turn around and place your hands behind your back.
The cops came into my house and threw me in jail.
And to Cindy's surprise, her fiancé Kenny was charged with abusing one of her children.
I never once doubted Kenny, and I always doubted the accusation.
On Season 3 of Burden of Guilt, you'll hear a story about the lengths someone will go to in order to get what they want.
This case has got to be one of the most despicable.
Listen to Season 3 of Burden of Guilt on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, it's the Jonas Brothers. This week on the podcast, Hey Jonas, we're hanging out with Michael Bublé. After Kevin's recent interesting confession about Michael, we figured there's only one thing to do. We must invite Michael Bublé on the podcast, and we want to know what's on his Sexy Time playlist.
You know, I did an interview, and they're like, have you heard about this Jonas Brothers thing? And they were like, what did you think of it? And I was like, well, I mean, it's reciprocal.
We talk about Kevin's confession, Michael's reaction, and a whole lot more. Our conversation with Michael Bublé is out now. Listen to Hey Jonas on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There was no anything inside those eyes. They turned black. It scared the hell out of me.
People, wake up! I'm the one that saw the murder take place by Krivak and DePippo.
Anthony DePippo showed no signs of remorse, appearing unfazed after being sentenced to the maximum.
I said, I'm not guilty. I'll take it to the grave.
Listen to The Devil's Quarry in the Bone Valley feed on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay. I'm not going to read you the subject line of this. It says, "Hey all, let me preface this email by explaining that I am an English-speaking American who half-assed her way through 5 years of public school German." 5 years.
Wow.
What happened? I have not taken a German class since 2015, but apparently my unconscious brain is fluent. I've always been a sleep talker. I have a lot of strange sleeping habits that my parents talk about all the time. And then in parentheses, it says, unrelated, but one time I sleptwalked to my neighbor's house and broke in. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, I've had 3 roommates and 1 boyfriend report back to me that I started speaking German in my sleep.
What?
I won't get into all of them, although they're all just as creepy and unusual. But this story takes place during my sophomore year in college. While I was fast asleep in our shared bedroom, my college roommate was finishing up her homework. I started stirring and whispering something that made her turn around. My eyes were wide open, and I suddenly sat up and started to aggressively whisper in German.
Oh my God, that's the creepiest.
That is not okay at all. No. Even if it was fucking Italian or a romance language, doesn't matter. She asked me what I was saying and if I was awake while I continued to ramble on in my foreign language. Suddenly the German stopped, and to her horror, I said, "Don't worry, the dream man won't get you if we stick together."
Oh my God.
Then I tucked myself back under my blanket and was silent for the rest of her sleepless night. She and I are not friends anymore. And then in parentheses, it says, "It's for the best." But sometimes I worry about the dream man and whether or not he got her. Unfortunately, I don't know who possesses me in the night and why they are so menacing, but I have kind of come to love this useless skill of mine. Well, that's it. If anybody wants to have a sleepover and talk to my German demon, let me know. Stay sexy, Carly.
That's wild that your brain would still retain all of that. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Your unconscious brain.
I wonder if there's some sort of past life or ancestral Germanic, like that's the reason she took it in the first place, maybe?
Yeah.
There's something in there that wanted to speak German.
Love
I
it.
don't know.
This is called My Dog Fucked Him Up. Hey, everyone, but mostly your furry comrades, because this is a My Pet Saved Me story. I have to say the usual thank you for being so open about your therapy and mental health. You inspired me to get back into therapy, even if only to have someone to talk to about shit. Now we'll sally forth into the story. When I was a teenager, we rescued a 16-year-old mutt named Sandy who was riddled with cancer. She mostly slept with the occasional humph when she got out of bed to head to a new spot to sleep. Well, one night, my parents were out partying and says, I want to make an excuse for them, but my therapist told me to stop doing that, so fuck them. And the only phone in the house was a landline in the mudroom, which conveniently happened to be what was broken into that night. Sandy and I were asleep in my room right next to the mudroom. Some guy kicked the door open and Sandy was gone. She booked her old ass straight at him and launched full force at him, clamping onto his arm. I was able to get to the phone, and by the time the cops got there, she had mangled his wrist to the point where he would probably not have full use of his hand. And it says, I totally eavesdropped on the paramedics. At bar close, my parents came home to the crime scene, several disapproving police officers, and me crying while I laid on a bloody, uninterested dog. Their stupefaction was the second best part of the night. Stay sexy and don't underestimate the quiet ones. CC, she, her.
Wow.
I always wonder what Cookie would be like with an actual intruder.
Cookie would be really cute.
She would be cute and easy to calm down.
Hopefully she would just warm the heart of the intruder
Right.
and they'd be like, you know what? I see the error of my ways. I have to go. Did someone leave a little doll on the floor?
Oh, a Muppet.
Frank is like a street dog. He's very he would go crazy,
Yes.
I think. He's ready for a fight.
I love that.
And Blossom is like, I've got to get out of here. She's nervous. She's not interested in conversation in any way. She would run for sure. The subject line of this email is Hidden Treasure Letdown. And it just starts, yo, I sent a super depressing hometown about 4 years ago, but now that the floodgates for hometowns have been opened, I have something a little more lighthearted. About 15 years ago, my parents bought a home in small town Nebraska that was built by a family that owned banks and toll bridges in our county. And then it says, didn't know that people were allowed to own bridges, but I digress. Anyways, after they bought the house, complete with velvet wallpaper, shag carpeting, mirrors everywhere, etc., they went into full demo mode. They were demoing an area in the basement, which at one point was my bedroom, and they found a hidden compartment. My immediate thought was, oh shit, these bankers have a safe full of money. Nope. It was just a lockbox with the blueprints from when they built the house.
Aww.
But here's where things get interesting. The blueprints revealed a hidden room behind what my mom calls her hoarder room. Recycled bows and ribbons from Christmas, random empty boxes that she thinks she needs, etc. Even though she's thrown out every single middle school arts and crafts project I've ever made.
Ouch.
But this secret room, this is where the money is, right?
Yeah.
Nope. All that was there was literally the world's oldest set of golf clubs and a doll.
Aww.
My mom gave the doll to my niece, so I'm keeping an eye out for her because that doll has some secrets to share. Stay sexy and don't create secret rooms if you're not going to hide money. Best wishes and warmest regards. And then in brackets, it says, keeping my name private in case I find that family's fucking money.
It's in there. It's in there somewhere.
I mean, that idea that you on blueprints, it's like, oh my God, a hidden room.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's where I stash my golf clubs.
And the one haunted doll.
Demon doll.
I'm Nancy Glass, host of the Burden of Guilt Season 3 podcast. This is a story about a horrendous situation that destroyed two families. It started more than 7 years ago when Cindy and Kenny were two 40-somethings who had just gotten engaged. Days later, they walked into a scorched earth war they never saw coming.
Turn around and place your hands behind your back.
The cops came into my house and threw me in jail.
And to Cindy's surprise, her fiancé Kenny was charged with abusing one of her children.
I never once doubted Kenny, and I always doubted the accusation.
On Season 3 of Burden of Guilt, you'll hear a story about the lengths someone will go to in order to get what they want.
This case has got to be one of the most despicable.
Listen to Season 3 of Burden of Guilt on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On Boxing Day 2018, Joy Morgan was last seen at her secretive church. 6 weeks later, she's reported missing. I'm Charlie Brinkhurst-Cuff, and after years of investigating Joy's case, I need to know what really happened to Joy. This is The Missing Sister, the true story of a woman betrayed by those she trusted most. Listen to The Missing Sister on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There was no anything inside those eyes. They turned black. It scared the hell out of me.
People, wake up! I'm the one that saw the murder take place by Krivak and DePippo.
Anthony DePippo showed no signs of remorse, appearing unfazed after being sentenced to the maximum.
I said, I'm not guilty. I'll take it to the grave.
Listen to The Devil's Quarry in the Bone Valley feed on the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, here's my last one. It says, drunk kid story is still a thing? Question mark?
Sure.
I've been trying to submit this forever since I first heard a drunk kid story and I knew it was my time. Figured y'all would appreciate it more than my ex's super conservative Christian family, but he's an ex for a reason. So anyway, the year was 1995 and I was a 2-year-old who apparently already talked too much for her age. It was a Friday late in the afternoon and my dad had just gotten home from work. And as all the normal dads did back in the 90s, he had already started drinking on the way home from work.
Sure.
He said he got home and my mom was rushing him to get in the shower and get ready to go have dinner. So he put his beer down and got in the shower. About 15 minutes goes by and my dad hears my mom yell, "Something is wrong with the baby," from the bedroom. My dad rushes to see me stumbling and smiling all over the place. My mom is frantic and screaming. And then in parentheses, it says, she's still like this because who would my mom be if she wasn't screaming? My dad is trying to figure out what's wrong with me. He calmly walks over to the living room and sees the now empty beer bottle on the coffee table that was full before he got in the shower. The bottle now empty explains everything. I was drunk AF. Apparently, while my dad was showering and my mom was clearly not supervising me, I was in the living room partying it up, drinking my dad's beer. You'd think this would make my parents stay home and take care of me. Well, no, they were only 22 years old when they had me, so they weren't letting a drunk 2-year-old ruin their evening. My parents still went to dinner with me in the stroller. Apparently, I passed out in my stroller as they enjoyed their evening.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. My mom says the next morning I woke up crying, saying I had a headache. I was clearly hungover at 2 years old. Little did I know that would be one of many hangovers later in my 20s. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and thank you for advocating for women's abortion rights. I live in Texas, where sadly that right has been taken from us like many other states. It's infuriating and sad that women before us fought long and hard for that right, for it just to be taken away in the blink of an eye. SSDGM, S.
You're so right, S. It's so infuriating and so ridiculous, and it needs to change. And in the meantime, let's feed beer to children.
We advocate on behalf of drunk children everywhere. That's our platform.
Until women have their bodily autonomy back.
Right.
No 2-year-old is going to be safe from a Sam Adams long neck. Just kidding.
Y'all, we're
kidding
kidding.
We're kidding. Shut up. We're kidding.
Send us your stories, okay? At myfavoritemurder@gmail.com.
Yeah, anything you want to tell us about, pretty much anything at all. Grandparents usually get moved to the front of the line. We love them.
Right. Or a real true crime story. That would be great too. Hometown.
Always on the search for them.
Yeah.
But until that time, stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, do you want a cookie?
This has been an Exactly Right production.
Our senior producer is Hannah Kyle Crichton.
Our producer is Alejandra Keck.
This episode was engineered and mixed by Stephen Ray Morris.
Our researchers are Maren McClashin and Sarah Blair Jenkins.
Email your hometowns and fucking hoorays to myfavoritemurder@gmail.com.
Follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at myfavoritemurder and Twitter at myfavemurder.
Goodbye.
I'm Nancy Glass, host of the Burden of Guilt Season 3 podcast. This is a story about a horrendous situation that destroyed 2 families. It's a scorched earth war that shows just how far someone will go to get what they want.
Cindy said I had to choose between the truth and my family, and I had to choose the truth.
Listen to Season 3 of Burden of Guilt on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Joy is essential, and it's also elusive. But now, there's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Joy 101. If you're craving inspiration, support, and useful tools to maximize your joy, tune into these candid, uplifting, and moving on-air chats. Listen to Joy 101 with Hoda Kotb starting June 10th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
My first guest is Paris Hilton, Shakira, Luke, and Yerin. We have surprises.
Many surprises.
Welcome to the Sweet 305 podcast, where the group chat comes to life.
What up? You're the only person I know that loves a yellow Starburst. It's lemonade.
Listen to Sweet 305 with Lele Pons. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Sweet 305, and listen now.